I watched Infinity Wars yesterday, so I'll give you a few quick spoiler-free thoughts. Plus, we'll break down the new teaser trailer for Gemini Man, the new Will Smith movie, as well as go through Will's career a bit. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
It's a me,
Dario!
Woohoo! Let's go!
I want to get into a big announcement, but first, I got to get this out of the way real quick. A big reminder that the podcast is now officially on iTunes, so please subscribe there. You can easily find it by typing in Super Dario World Podcast in the iTunes Store search bar. If you could also rate the show there, that would be extremely helpful. So far, we have a perfect 5-star rating, so thank you very much for all of you for supporting this channel. However, if you don't like iTunes, you can still find it on SoundCloud and YouTube. Still not on the iHeartRadio app yet, but I'll keep you posted on that one. As always, please add me on social media. You can find me on Instagram at Dario the Show. You can always contact me there with any comments, questions, or suggestions. The feedback is great. I feel like this is all starting to take shape, and I gotta say, I'm liking the way it's turning out. You know, it's turning out better than I expected. But okay, enough bragging. Let's get started. So as I mentioned already, I got to see Avengers Endgame yesterday. And as a quick reminder, this is not going to be a review of the movie. This is 100% spoiler-free. I'm just going to mention a few quick bits. However, next week, next Tuesday, I will be doing a full review that will mention spoilers. So I highly recommend you see this movie this weekend. And not only that, because the movie has a ton of spoilers. Honestly, do yourself a favor. Stay off the internet if you haven't seen it. Or go see it this weekend. People suck and they will ruin it for you. Anyway. The point is, I will be doing a full review on Tuesday of next week, which leads me to my big announcement. Big announcement! Big news! Big news! SDW will get its first ever in-studio guest. That's right. I will be joined by none other than the Eddie Papani, the Oracle himself. So, for those of you who don't know, I work for a morning radio show in San Diego called The Show, and the host of that show is named Eddie. So technically, he's my boss, and I've been waiting for the right podcast to bring him in. I highly respect Eddie. I highly respect his nerd knowledge, and yesterday I saw the movie with him. He cried several times viewing it. So if there's somebody that I'm going to bring in for his expertise on this film, it's got to be the man himself, Eddie Papani. So I'm very excited about this. My first guest, and it's a big one. Also, throughout the years, P1s have been asking me... Oh, by the way, P1s are what we call our listeners in Rock 105.3's The Show. Anyway, P1s have been asking me questions about Eddie, so I may throw one or two of those questions in there. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm excited. Next Tuesday, Avengers Endgame review with Eddie Papani. I hope you're stoked as I am. I'm really stoked. I'm really excited. But anyway, let's move on to my thoughts on Endgame. For starters, I did a video yesterday on the top 3 things I hoped happened during Endgame and the top 3 things I hope didn't happen during Endgame. So I'm not going to get too much into it. I highly recommend you listen to it just because I did it. But I'm not going to get into which ones I got right and which ones I got wrong because they could lead to spoilers. But let's just say there were elements from both lists on the movie. I'm not going to get into it again. I'm not going to do spoilers. But here's the thing. Here's the bottom line of the movie, and this is the word that Eddie used to describe it. The movie is epic. It's a 3-hour-long epic film. It's the biggest superhero film ever made. I think it's also the longest, and it is worth every second you are in there. Now, right now, I'm coming off the high. I'm still in the high. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect film. I had issues with certain things that happened, but overall, it lives up to the hype. It is a worthy end to the Infinity Saga, to an 11-year build-up. This movie is a culmination of over 11 years of work. It carried 11 years and 21 movies technically on its back, and it was worthy of it. It did it gracefully, and it did it in an epic fashion. The last hour is amazing. I got goosebumps several times. I got a little emotional several times. It is fantastic. Again, I'm still riding the high, but right now, hats off to the Russo brothers who directed the movie. Seriously, what you did was amazing. You gave us not only something that we wanted to see, but you did something so different, so unique. The movie's jam-packed with surprises. So, like I said before, watch as quickly as possible because there are a ton of spoilers, so be careful out there if you're not going to see it this weekend. I highly, highly recommend it. And again, I will be going deeper into the movie on Tuesday with Eddie Papani, so get ready for that. But that's it. That's all I'm giving you for now. I think that's enough. I'm giving a Dario approved. This movie is Dario approved. I'll give it a... Again, I'm riding the high. I need to watch it again because usually when I watch the movie the first time, I just watch it as a fan. And then when I watch it the second time, that's when I get a little bit critical of stuff. In the first viewing, unless there's something that's just completely off that immediately makes you go, that doesn't make any sense, that's so blatantly obvious, it bugs me, which this movie has a little. But the second time is when I'm a little bit more critical. The first time, I just wanted to enjoy it. So it was 3 hours of me just enjoying it. The little kid in me was extremely happy. The adult in me was really pumped. So, I highly recommend this movie. Watch it and let me know what you think, honestly. And get ready for Tuesday. Because, again, getting my boy Eddie Papani in here, we're going to break this down. Or we're just going to nerd out, you know? If you have any questions you want me to ask about the movie to Eddie, let me know. Hit me up. Again, at Dario the Show. I can ask your questions for you. It's the easiest way. But anyway, okay. That's it. That's all I'm giving you for now. And let's move on to Gemini Man. So Paramount Pictures released the first official teaser trailer for the upcoming sci-fi action thriller Gemini Man, which is a movie I've been following for a while now. It stars Will Smith, Clive Owen from Children of Man, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who you might remember, she plays Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Anyway, before I get into it, here's the premise of the film, straight from IMDb.
An over-the-hill hitman faces off against a younger clone of himself.
So for starters, I love the simplicity of that explanation. You shouldn't need more than 2 sentences to describe the plot of a movie. I can't tell you how much I hate when I ask somebody what a movie's about or what a show's about, and they start telling me what happens. Don't tell me what happens. Tell me what it's about. It's 2 completely different things. But anyway, the point here is that premise should be enough to get your attention and be like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds interesting. Will Smith, Clive Owen, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Okay, that sounds good. But the thing that takes it over the edge, at least for me, is that it's being directed by Ang Lee. Now, if you don't know Ang Lee, he's one of my favorite directors. He directed The Life of Pi. He directed Brokeback Mountain. He directed Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So he's an amazing director. He's called a visionary director, which means the guy has extraordinary imagination and vision, which, I mean, honestly, I think all directors should have that, but whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, I like the guy's work, okay? He's made solid movies throughout his career. I like his work, and I was excited the minute I heard that this was going to be his next project and that Will Smith was going to be involved in it, because I've been a big fan of Will Smith pretty much my entire life, going all the way back to The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which I watched when I was a little kid. And so it's been sad the last few years because his work hasn't been that great. It's been kind of mediocre lately. So I was excited when they announced this movie because I think it might mark Will Smith's return to greatness. This might be his comeback. This might be his comeback film. I know he's also doing Aladdin. He's doing The Genie. I thought that was a terrible idea. I may get into live-action remakes of animated films at one point. I probably will because I'm really against them. But the point is, this one looks really interesting. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through Will Smith's career, at least over the last few years, so you can see kind of where he fell off and why I consider this would be a real comeback for his career. Because some people debate this. They're like, no, he's still been working. He hasn't stopped working for years. He's still doing stuff. Yeah, the problem is that what he's been doing hasn't been great. Or at least not his bag. Not what we want to see from Will Smith. Now, here's a bit of the trailer so you have an idea kind of what the tone of the movie is. And fair warning, it sounds really stupid because Will Smith is voicing 2 characters, so sometimes it may not make sense in the audio version. So I highly recommend you watch the trailer so it makes more sense to you. But anyway, here's a clip from it.
25 years ago, they made you from me. They chose me because there's never been anybody like me. We have to end this right now. You have all of his gifts without his pain. You made a person out of another person. Then you sent me to kill him. You made a choice to do this to me. This thing that you're struggling with, it's fear. Embrace it and then overcome it. Of all the people in the world to come after me, why would he send you?
So there you go. Now, again, I highly recommend you watch the whole trailer. You can find it on YouTube. Just type in Gemini Man trailer. Should pop up right there. But the reason I wanted to make this segment is because I've been a big fan of Will Smith pretty much my entire life, going all the way back to The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which I watched when I was a little kid. And so it's been sad the last few years because his work hasn't been that great. It's been kind of mediocre lately. So I was excited when they announced this movie because I think it might mark Will Smith's return to greatness. This might be his comeback. This might be his comeback film. I know he's also doing Aladdin. He's doing The Genie. I thought that was a terrible idea. I may get into live-action remakes of animated films at one point. I probably will because I'm really against them. But the point is, this one looks really interesting. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through Will Smith's career, at least over the last few years, so you can see kind of where he fell off and why I consider this would be a real comeback for his career. Because some people debate this. They're like, no, he's still been working. He hasn't stopped working for years. He's still doing stuff. Yeah, the problem is that what he's been doing hasn't been great. Or at least not his bag. Not what we want to see from Will Smith. Because Will Smith is great at comedy and he's great at action. He's also been very successful with sci-fi thrillers, or sci-fi in general, which is what Gemini Man is. So let's go back all the way to the 90s, back to Will's glory days to see kind of how his career developed. So as most of you know, Will's career started in rap. He was a rapper originally. He was known as the Fresh Prince. He and DJ Jazzy Jeff actually won the first ever Grammy Award for Best Rap Performance. And it was his success as a rapper that led him to have his own TV show called The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Now, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air aired from 1990 to 1996. And from there, Will grew into a comedy superstar. But for some reason, he didn't really follow the comedy route when it came to film. I mean, he appeared in Made in America, a comedy with Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson, but then he appeared in 6 Degrees of Separation, which is kind of a thriller. It has a little bit of comedy in it, but it's more of a mystery thriller. And from there, the next movie he appeared on was in 1995 in Michael Bay's Bad Boys, alongside Martin Lawrence. And that movie, which is an action comedy, completely changes the way America viewed Will Smith. Because before he was a rapper, he was a comedian, he was the funny guy on TV. From that point on, he became an action star. And not just an action star, a comedic action star. And that was kind of his niche for a while, where he played the kind of funny badass guy. And just check it out. His following film was Independence Day in 1996, then followed by Men in Black in 1997. Those were 3 huge movies, and they all have in common that they're action comedies, and 2 of those have sci-fi in it. So it was a huge, huge 3 years for Will Smith. After that one came Enemy at the State, which was kind of a bit more dramatic in 1998, but still highly successful year. Then 1999 took kind of a dive because the next film he did was Wild Wild West, which was kind of a comedy sci-fi western, I guess. It was not good. Not good for anybody involved. It hurt his career a little, especially because he chose to do Wild Wild West over The Matrix, which I don't mind because I thought Keanu Reeves did a great job. And even Will Smith said that it was better that Keanu Reeves did it, but whatever. Anyway, the point is, Will Smith had so many hits in the 90s that one dip didn't really affect him anyway. But it may have been enough to make him kind of change his tune on what he wanted to be as an actor. Because in the early 2000s, the first movie he made in the year 2000 was Legend of Bagger Vance, which is a golf movie. And he followed that up by playing Ali, which is, it's a biopic, and it's got action. It's a boxing movie, and it's great. He was actually nominated for an Oscar for it. He didn't win, but he was nominated, and it was a really amazing performance. After that, he made his first sequel, which was Men in Black 2 in 2002. Then he did Bad Boys 2 in 2003, which a lot of people think was better than the original. Then in 2003, we have I, Robot, another sci-fi action movie. 2005, we have Hitch, which was a comedy. 2006, we have The Pursuit of Happiness, which got him another Academy Award nomination. In 2007, he did I Am Legend, which is a sci-fi thriller, a great one of the best zombie movies out there. And in 2008, he played the drunken superhero Hancock, which I guess it's closer to a fantasy movie than anything else. And also in 2008, he released the drama romance 7 Pounds. And so it's up to this point where Will Smith is at the top of his game. Every single year, he's put out either a highly critically acclaimed film or a box office hit. Think about it. Every single movie I mentioned there, all the way back to 1995 with Bad Boys, most of those films have been in the top 10 of the highest grossing films of that year. It's insane. It's insane how much America loved Will Smith. And out of all the movies that I mentioned, 4 out of the top 5 of his highest grossing films of all time have been sci-fi action movies, with number 1 being Independence Day, number 2 I Am Legend, number 3 Men in Black, number 4 Hancock, which again, it's a superhero movie, but it's closer to fantasy, and number 5 Men in Black 2, a comedy. So clearly America likes their Will Smith the way they like their Will Smith, in action sci-fi movies. So what changed after 2008? Well, for starters, he went on an acting hiatus for 4 years. However, he did not stop working because he continued producing movies. And this is where the conspiracy theory comes in. He tried way too hard to make his son, Jaden Smith's career happen, because he spent a few years producing the Karate Kid remake, which is not easy. And let me tell you something. Being a producer is nowhere near as fun as being an actor, because all the responsibilities, all the decisions, all the consequences, all the everything falls on you. I mean, as an actor, you're putting your face out there, and you're the one that can get embarrassed. But all the financial responsibilities, all the running around, all the getting people together, all the organizing, all the handling the money, all the handling the schedules, all the getting the permits for everything, all the getting the rights for everything, lands on the producer. So it's nowhere near as fun as it is learning your role and giving a great performance. It's not easy to give a great performance, but it's a lot more fun. I'm not saying either jobs are easy. I'm saying one is more fun than the other. And during this acting hiatus, he tried way too hard to make his kid's career happen. And his family's weird, okay? His wife is weird, his kids are weird, and none of them are anywhere near as talented as he is in any aspect, okay? The daughter who does music, nowhere near as good as Will's music. The kid who acts, the wife who acts, are nowhere near as talented as Will is. So he tried very hard to make their careers happen, and so far they've been mediocre at best, maybe. Jada has had a respectable career, but they're nowhere near the same level, and they never will be, because there's such a thing known as the it factor. Some people have it, some people don't have it, and so far all the evidence points that the rest of the Smith family does not have it. Anyway, after the hiatus, Will returned with Men in Black 3, which was a box office success. People love that franchise. And he followed that up in 2013 with After Earth. Now, I hate After Earth. It's one of the most annoying movies ever, especially because I felt like I got duped. Because I went there to see a movie about Will Smith, and it ended up being a movie about his kid. So I think that's where America took a turn on Will. Because from that point forward, the next few movies he put out were mostly bombs, except for one. And I'll get to that one in a minute. But since After Earth, which, by the way, I just have to throw this out there, M. Night Shyamalan is kind of a hack. I honestly had really high hopes for After Earth because I thought that it would help reboot M. Night Shyamalan's career, because he had a few good movies. I love Signs, Sixth Sense. I hear it's good. I still haven't seen it because I'm pissed off because a friend spoiled the ending for me. After that, he had a bunch of misses, and the one that I cannot forgive is The Last Airbender. How the hell do you ruin that franchise? It was there for the taking, and you ruined it. You're a hack. Anyway, I also like Unbreakable. I like Glass. So he's had hits and misses. But I thought that was going to be a turning point in his career, and it wasn't. Anyway, I just had to get that out. But anyway, the point is, we didn't like him trying to ram his kid down our throats. He's nowhere near as talented. We went to see After Earth to see Will Smith in a sci-fi action movie, not to see a stupid kid. All right? Anyway, he followed After Earth with Focus in 2015, which is a crime drama. Concussion also in 2015, which I guess got him some critical acclaim, but it was a box office bomb. That's a biopic. That's a sports biopic. Drama as well. 2016 was Suicide Squad, which I still hate that. The movie still pisses me off so much because I had such highest expectations for it. That's another superhero movie. But Will was okay in it. He just played Will Smith. That was the consensus. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. Most people say like, oh yeah, Will played Will Smith. It was okay. And it was still kind of a step down because up to that point, he'd been the lead or co-lead in all of his movies since Bad Boys. So being part of an ensemble superhero movie is a huge step down. Huge step down. Especially a group that mainstream audiences had never heard of. Anyway, after that we have the drama Collateral Beauty in 2016. And in 2017 we have the Netflix film Bright, which I guess it's a fantasy cop drama. I guess it's the best way to describe it. So for those of you keeping score, since the hiatus, we got 8 movies. And one of those I'm eliminating because we don't have the Netflix numbers for sure. But of the rest of them, I mean Men in Black 3, After Earth, Focus, Concussion, Suicide Squad, and Collateral Beauty. 5 of them are in the bottom 10 of the lowest grossing films of his career. And some of them are neck and neck with movies that he made before he was even a lead. So when he was a secondary character. The only ones not in the bottom are Men in Black 3, which is already an established franchise that people loved, and Suicide Squad, which I don't understand how that movie made so much money. I guess people were curious about the Joker, and it was in the middle of the superhero explosion, and it had a lot of hype. The problem is the movie had a lot of hype, but it sucked. It was horrible. It's one of the worst superhero movies out there. Margot Robbie's performance is good. The movie sucks. I have to say that. I have to clarify. One thing about the movie is good, everything else sucks, especially what they did with the Joker. I hate it. Anyway, coming back to my point. I usually don't put a lot of stock on how much money a movie makes, because to me, box office success does not equal a great movie. A good example of this is Suicide Squad, or Captain Marvel. It's made a lot of money, both of them suck. Both made a lot of money, both of them suck. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I believe that Gemini Man is going to be a comeback for Will. This is going to be a comeback movie for him. And the reason why I bring up the numbers is that, how do you know how people feel about an actor? How do you know? Well, how much money they're willing to spend to go see him, right? That's the easiest way to know. So his numbers have been going steadily down, except for Suicide Squad, which was a boom. They were going down, down, down. They had a little blip in the radar, but again, it was universally hated. It's a universally hated movie, so even if it made a lot of money, it kind of got you on the bad side of the audience. So I believe that with Ang Lee, because I think this might be the best director that he's ever worked with. Maybe. I have to think about that. I might have to go back to see every single director he's worked with, but I think that this might be the most talented director that he's worked with. It's a genre that America likes him in. It's a science fiction action movie, and the premise is pretty interesting. So I think this has all the makings of the Will Smith comeback tour. I think this might be the one that finally turns it around for him. Because like I said before, I like Will, and I think he should do something similar to what Tom Cruise does. Know your lane and stick in it. Every once in a while do some drama, but mostly stay in your lane, because the box office results show that that's where people want you, and honestly, you're great at it. So, I don't know, like I said, I have really high expectations for this movie. I'm excited. I loved how the first trailer looked. The effects to make him look younger are amazing. And this was just the first look, so they will be making it look better before the movie comes out. So I highly recommend you watch the trailer. I hope you like the segment. Let me know what you think about this format where I just go through an actor's story or a director's story or something and kind of snip out a few theories that I have. Let me know what you think. Or should I just do a ranking of his best films, his best work? I don't know. Let me know what you think. I like going deeper into things, but I know that's not everybody's bag, so let me know what you think. As always, you can contact me at Dario the Show on Instagram. You can follow me there. Any comments, questions, or suggestions are greatly appreciated. They are extremely helpful to me as I continue to develop the show. And for tomorrow, since it's Throwback Thursday, I think I'm going to be doing a ranking of the top 10 Linkin Park songs. So get ready for that. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.